the same 30-minute walk, but when you do it at 7 in the morning, it's one thing. When you do it at 8 in the evening, it's something completely different happening inside your body. Most men don't know this. I'm Dr. Emily Carter, and for the past 15 years I've been tracking age-related changes in men. And I can tell you something. Walking isn't enough. When you do it, determines how your body responds. This might seem like a small detail, but it's not, because your body works on a clock. Hormonal systems, digestion, energy production, even tissue repair. They all operate within a specific rhythm. And the timing of your walk either supports that rhythm or disrupts it. Most men don't notice. Not until they realise they're not waking up the way they used to, that afternoons feel heavier, that evenings feel different, or that mornings feel empty. When they reach that point, they usually say the same thing. I should walk more. But the problem isn't quantity, it's timing. Now I'm going to explain this to you, calmly, scientifically, and perhaps you'll start to understand some of the changes you've been noticing in yourself from a new perspective. Let's start with a simple fact. Your body works differently at 7 in the morning. It works differently at 1 in the afternoon. It works completely differently at 8 in the evening. This isn't just about energy levels. This is about which hormones are active, which enzymes are being released, which cellular processes are running. In medical terms, we call this the circadian rhythm, your body's internal clock. And this clock is always running, even when you're sleeping, even when you're resting, even when you're sitting doing nothing. But here's what's critical. This internal clock responds to when you move. When you walk early in the morning, your body reads this as a day is starting signal. Cortisol rises. This isn't a bad thing. Morning cortisol is necessary for alertness and energy. It also triggers testosterone release. But if you take that same walk at 8 in the evening, then your body receives a different message. Isn't the day over? Why are we still in motion? And this confusion affects hormone balance. Because in the evening hours, what your body is supposed to be doing is resting, repairing, producing testosterone. Instead, you're moving. Your heart rate is elevated. Cortisol continues. And the testosterone signal is delayed. It seems like a small delay. But when this repeats every night, accumulation begins. Testosterone waves become irregular. Morning alertness weakens. Recovery slows. And men start noticing something they can't quite name. Let me give you a clearer picture. When you walk in the morning, specifically between 6 and 9 a.m., several things happen simultaneously. First, sunlight hits your eyes, even through clouds, even on grey days. That light reaches your retina and sends a signal directly to your brain's master clock. The suprachiasmatic nucleus. This tiny region controls almost everything that happens in your body over the next 16 hours. It tells your adrenal glands, release cortisol, it's time to wake up. It tells your pineal gland, stop making melatonin, day has begun. And most importantly for men over 50, it tells your testes, begin the testosterone production cycle. This cascade doesn't happen because you're walking. It happens because you're walking at the right time, with light exposure, when your body expects movement. That's the difference. A treadmill in a basement at 6 p.m. doesn't trigger this. A walk in a shopping mall under artificial light doesn't fully activate this. Your body needs the combination, movement, light, and correct timing. When those three align, your circadian system locks in. Your hormones know what to do. And your energy, your recovery, your drive, they all improve naturally. But here's what most men do instead. They wake up. They sit in traffic. They sit at a desk. They eat lunch sitting down. They sit in more meetings. They drive home sitting. And then around 7 or 8 p.m. they think, I should move. I should walk. So they do. 30 minutes, sometimes more. They feel good. They feel like they've done something healthy. And they have. Movement is always better than no movement. But the timing is wrong for what they actually need. Because by 8 p.m, their body is preparing for a completely different phase. The parasympathetic nervous system is supposed to be taking over. This is the rest and digest mode, the mode where repair happens, where testosterone is manufactured, where growth hormone is released. But now you're walking. Your sympathetic nervous system activates again. Wait, we're not resting yet? Cortisol, which should be dropping, stays elevated. Heart rate, which should be settling, rises again. And the testosterone production window, which peaks during deep sleep, gets delayed. One night of this? Probably fine. But when this becomes your routine, 5 nights a week, 50 weeks a year, that's when the body adapts. And adaptation, in this case, means compensation. Your testosterone production doesn't happen on schedule, your recovery slows, your morning energy stays flat. And over months, sometimes years, men start to feel what they describe as getting older. But it's not age, it's rhythm disruption. Now let me talk about the afternoon walk, because this one surprises most people. A walk between 1 and 4 p.m. has completely different metabolic effects. At this time, your body is dealing with post-lunch insulin, blood sugar is fluctuating, energy often dips. This is the time when men feel sluggish, when focus drops, when they reach for another coffee. And this is exactly when a walk becomes most powerful for metabolic health. Walking during this window doesn't just burn calories, it tells your muscles to absorb glucose, it stabilizes blood sugar without needing insulin to spike. It prevents that mid-afternoon crash that leads to more sitting, more snacking, more energy debt. Studies on glucose metabolism consistently show this. A 15-minute walk after lunch can reduce blood sugar spikes by up to 30%. Over time, this reduces insulin resistance, and lower insulin resistance means better testosterone sensitivity. Because here's something most men don't realize. Testosterone doesn't just depend on production, it depends on how well your cells respond to it. When insulin is chronically elevated, testosterone receptors become less sensitive. You might be producing testosterone, but your body isn't using it efficiently. That's why men with metabolic syndrome, even when their testosterone levels look normal on paper, still feel low energy, low drive, and low recovery. The afternoon walk helps prevent this. Not because it's intense, but because it happens at the exact moment when your metabolism is most vulnerable. So if you can only walk once a day, and your mornings are impossible, the afternoon is your second best window, not the evening. Let me explain what happens when evening walks become routine. Your body begins to learn a pattern. Every night at 8 p.m. we move. And patterns create adaptation. At first this seems fine, you feel good, you sleep okay. But over weeks your circadian system starts shifting. Your body begins to expect activity later in the day. Cortisol doesn't drop as sharply, melatonin release is delayed, and here's the part that men rarely connect. When melatonin is delayed, deep sleep is delayed. And when deep sleep is delayed, testosterone production is reduced, because testosterone isn't made during light sleep, it's made during the deepest phases of sleep, specifically REM and slow-wave sleep. These phases happen in cycles, and they're most concentrated in the second half of the night. But if you're not falling into deep sleep until midnight or later, you're shortening that window. You might still sleep 7 hours, but the quality of those hours has changed, and quality determines recovery. Men start noticing this in subtle ways. They wake up feeling less rested. Morning firmness, which is a direct sign of healthy testosterone cycles during sleep, becomes less consistent. Energy throughout the day feels flatter. They don't connect it to their evening walk, because the walk feels healthy. And it is. But the timing isn't supporting what their body needs most. Now, I'm not saying never walk in the evening. I'm saying be aware of what you're trading. If your goal is cardiovascular health, stress relief, or simply movement after a sedentary day, an evening walk serves that purpose. But if your goal is hormonal optimization, metabolic efficiency, and maintaining the vitality that tends to decline after 50, then morning or afternoon walks align better with your body's natural rhythms. This is what I mean by the hidden rule. It's not about intensity, it's not about distance, it's about synchronization. When you move in sync with your circadian rhythm, your body amplifies the benefits. Hormones release on schedule. Recovery happens efficiently. Energy compounds. When you move out of sync, your body still benefits from the movement itself, but it has to work against its internal clock to do so. And that creates subtle friction that builds over time. Most men feel this friction as slowing down, as not recovering like I used to, as needing more rest but not feeling rested. But it's not inevitable. It's often just timing. Let me give you a real-world example. I had a patient, 62 years old, who came to me complaining of low energy and reduced morning response. He exercised regularly, he ate well, his testosterone levels were technically in the normal range, but he felt off. When I asked about his routine, he told me he walked every evening after dinner, around 8 p.m, 30 to 45 minutes. He'd been doing this for years. I suggested a simple change. Move the walk to 7 a.m, same duration, same route, just different timing. He was skeptical. How is that going to change anything? But he tried it. Within 2 weeks he reported something unexpected. He was waking up more alert. His mid-afternoon energy was more stable, and the morning firmness, which had been declining for months, started returning. Nothing else changed. Same diet, same sleep schedule, same overall activity level, only the timing, because his body finally had permission to follow its natural rhythm. Cortisol rose in the morning with movement. Testosterone production happened on schedule during uninterrupted deep sleep. His metabolism stabilized during the day. The friction disappeared. And his body remembered how to function efficiently again. So what does this mean for you? It means that if you're walking but not seeing the results you expect, the problem might not be effort. It might be timing. If you're walking at night and wondering why your mornings feel flat, this might be why. If you're walking whenever you have time and noticing that your energy feels inconsistent, this might explain it. Because your body doesn't just respond to what you do, it responds to when you do it. And after 50, when hormonal margins become narrower, when recovery takes longer, when sleep quality becomes more fragile, timing becomes even more critical. You can't out-exercise a disrupted circadian rhythm. You can't supplement your way past poor sleep timing, and you can't force your body to ignore its internal clock, but you can work with it. You can move when your body expects movement. You can rest when your body expects rest. And when you do, everything becomes easier. Energy improves, recovery speeds up, hormones stabilize. Not because you're doing more, but because you're doing the right things at the right time. Now, let me be very clear about something. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm not prescribing a routine. I'm observing what happens in the body when timing aligns versus when it doesn't. And what I've observed across hundreds of men is this. The ones who move early and rest early maintain vitality longer. The ones who move late and sleep late tend to notice decline earlier. This isn't about being a morning person or a night person. This is about biology. Your testosterone production peaks during deep sleep in the early morning hours. Your cortisol is meant to rise with daylight. Your metabolism is most active midday. These aren't preferences. These are rhythms. And when your movement habits align with these rhythms, your body doesn't have to fight itself. It can simply function. Here's what most men don't realize until it's too late. The body always adapts. That's what it's designed to do. If you consistently walk at night, your body adapts. It shifts its rhythms. It changes when it expects activity. It delays recovery processes. And for a while, this feels fine. You don't notice anything wrong. But adaptations have limits. Eventually, the body can't keep adjusting. The circadian system becomes less flexible. Hormone production becomes less efficient. Recovery takes longer. And by the time you notice, the pattern has been set for months or years. That's why awareness matters now, not later. Because changing timing is simple. But reversing years of circadian disruption, that takes time. Most men wait until they feel something significant before they make changes. But by then, the body has already compensated in ways that are harder to undo. This is what I see in practice, over and over. Men come in feeling tired, feeling slower, feeling less responsive. They've tried more exercise, better diet, even supplements. But they haven't looked at timing. And when they do, when they simply move their walk to the morning, or shift their activity window earlier in the day, things start to shift. Not overnight, but steadily. Because the body remembers its natural rhythm. It just needs permission to follow it again. So let me leave you with this thought. You're probably walking, or you're planning to start. And that's good. Movement is essential. But ask yourself, when am I walking? Am I moving when my body expects it, or am I moving when it's convenient? Because convenience and biology don't always align. And after 50, that misalignment starts to show. Not dramatically, not all at once, but gradually, quietly, in the mornings that feel heavier, in the energy that doesn't last, in the recovery that takes longer. Your body is always giving you signals. The question is whether you're interpreting them correctly. Most men assume the signal is move more, but sometimes the signal is move smarter. And smarter doesn't mean harder, it means timed. The same 30-minute walk, morning versus evening, same steps, same effort, but completely different messages to your body. One tells your system, the day is beginning, let's activate. The other tells your system, we're still in motion, delay recovery. And over time, those messages compound. The body always listens. It just responds to what you're actually telling it, not what you think you're telling it. Most men don't realise this until the change is already noticeable. By then, they're looking for solutions. But the solution isn't more walking, it's walking at the right time.